Welcome to our noon edition of Arirang News. Here are the stories making the headlines at this hour. Disruptions to medical services following the mass walkout by junior doctors are expected to worsen as professors from the country's top medical school have decided to submit their resignations. The government plans to deploy around 200 more public doctors by next week. A U.S. intelligence agency says North Korea has no intention of engaging in nuclear talks. It also explains the regime has sought to demonstrate the danger posed by its military through missile launches in response to cooperation between South Korea, the U.S., and Japan. A South Korean has been arrested in Russia on suspicion of espionage. This is the first such reported case against a South Korean national. In the face of an escalating medical crisis, the South Korean government has taken steps to fill the void left by absent trainee doctors. It's also bracing for further disruptions as medical professors have expressed their intention to join in with collective action of their own. Our Shin Se-byuk starts us off.
With South Korea now in the fourth week of a mass walkout by trainee doctors, the government is scrambling to mitigate the resulting medical staff shortages. On Monday, the Ministry of Health and Welfare deployed a total of 158 personnel, including 20 military doctors and 138 doctors from public health centers to 20 general hospitals for 4 weeks. These military doctors will start working from Wednesday after completing training. The Health Ministry also plans to deploy around 200 more public health doctors by next week. As of Monday, the government sent advance notices of license suspensions to over 5,500 trainee doctors who have not returned to their posts despite a return-to-work order. Despite these measures, the situation may escalate as medical professors plan to join the protest. The Medical Professors Association of Korea is set to convene on Thursday to discuss a mass boycott of classes by medical students and the ongoing issue of absentee trainee doctors. The discussion will likely focus on repercussions for the students, including the possibility of giving students a failing grade for the semester, as well as the medical faculty's potential unified response. Separately, 5 leading hospitals in Seoul are also setting up meetings to examine the possibility of joint action and perhaps other issues, signaling a broader wave of protests within the healthcare community. In fact, all medical professors at Seoul National University announced on Monday their intention to resign en masse next Monday unless the government addresses the mass walkout by trainee doctors. Health Minister Cho Kyu-hong in a briefing on Tuesday expressed deep concern over the decision, saying it would put patients at risk.
We express grave concerns over the collective decision by medical professors at Seoul National University because it threatens the lives and health of patients.
Meanwhile, the government on Tuesday launched a reporting center within the Ministry of Health and Welfare. This aims to ensure a safe return to work for trainee doctors who may fear being publicly identified and subjected to group harassment. The government stressed its commitment to firmly addressing any threats of retaliation against those doctors. Shin Se-byuk, Arirang News.
A U.S. intel agency says it's clear that North Korea has no intention of engaging in nuclear negotiations and is trying to have its status as a nuclear state recognized through its close military ties with Russia. Lee Seung-jae has more.
Each year, the U.S. Director of National Intelligence releases its threat assessment report, analyzing the different threats the U.S. faces from other countries. In its latest edition of the report, released on Monday, it analyzed the current situation with North Korea, indicating that the regime's leader has no intention of engaging in nuclear negotiations and is trying to achieve its status as a nuclear state, recognized through close military ties with Russia. The report said that Kim Jong-un has no intention of negotiating to dismantle the nuclear program as he considers nuclear weapons as a tool to guarantee the regime's security and a source of national pride. It further said that Kim will continue to pursue nuclear and conventional military capabilities that threaten the United States and its allies. Taking note of President Yoon Suk-yeol's hardline stance against North Korea, the report said North Korea has shown a higher frequency of missile provocations since the strengthening of trilateral military cooperation with Seoul, Washington, and Tokyo. The annual report stressed that the Kim regime will prioritize building a more powerful missile system, ranging from cruise missiles to intercontinental ballistic missiles and hypersonic missiles, while China and Russia help with supplying materials and technology needed to achieve that goal. The report also assessed threats posed by China and Russia. In regards to Beijing, it said that its economic rival has the ability to compete directly with the United States and its allies and threaten rules-based international order. It added that serious demographic and economic challenges facing China could transform it into a more aggressive and unpredictable actor. On the other hand, it said Russia is strengthening its relations with North Korea, China, and Iran, but does not want a direct military conflict with the United States and NATO. Still, it says that Russia remains a threat to a rules-based society, as shown by its invasion of Ukraine. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
A South Korean national has been arrested in Russia for spying, making it the first reported case involving a South Korean. Seoul's foreign ministry said it's been providing consular assistance. Our An Sang-jin reports.
Russia has announced that it has arrested a South Korean national on suspicion of espionage. Russian state-owned news agency TASS reported on Monday that a man with the last name of Paek had been detained in the city of Vladivostok earlier this year and was transferred to Moscow last month for further investigation. It is the first reported arrest of a South Korean for alleged spying in Russia. Paek's detention period is until June 15th. No details have been provided on the nature of the alleged spying other than Paek allegedly being responsible for gathering and handing over intelligence to a foreign intelligence agency. Russian state media said that the South Korean citizen is being held inside Lefortovo, an infamous Russian prison where American Wall Street journalist Evan Gershkovich was also held. Those convicted for espionage can face up to 20 years imprisonment in Russia. The Foreign Ministry of South Korea said that though further details cannot be provided as it is an ongoing investigation, they're providing necessary support through the consulate in Russia. Paek is allegedly a civilian affiliated with a religious sector and entered Vladivostok through China in January. His wife had also been initially arrested but has been released and is currently in South Korea. Russia has designated South Korea as an unfriendly country following Seoul's support for Western sanctions against Moscow over the war in Ukraine. If Paek's release is further delayed or if he is convicted, this may lead to closer ties between Russia and North Korea, threatening the security on the peninsula. Amid rising security threats, the Swiss Federal Intelligence Service spokesperson noted that 1/3 of Russian diplomats in Switzerland are spies, making Geneva one of the most crucial hubs for information gathering. An Sung-jin, Arirang News.
Ukraine has strongly condemned a comment by Pope Francis that used the term white flag. The Ukrainian Foreign Ministry summoned the papal ambassador to Ukraine, Archbishop Visvaldas Kubokas, on Monday, concerning the Pope's comment for Kyiv to negotiate with Moscow. In an interview with Swiss broadcaster RSI, which was released partially on Saturday, the Pope said the strongest one is the one who looks at the situation, thinks about the people, and has the courage of the white flag and negotiates. The statement has triggered criticism as the white flag could be interpreted as a sign of surrender. Local SMEs and startups need new policies that can help them adapt to the fast-changing global landscape. Our business correspondent Lee Soo-jin sat down with the Minister of SMEs and Startups to learn what some of these new policies will look like.
Globalization is no longer a choice, but a necessity for many South Korean small and mid-sized businesses and startups. Ministry of SMEs and Startups Oh Young-ju said this is what many local businesses told her during her on-site visits over the past 2 months, and is why the government is revamping existing policies. Oh gave us a preview of what these new policies will entail.
First, we have to focus on the changing landscape of trade, so the technology-related activities as well. The second one is that, but this is much more important, that we have to provide customized support tailored for their specific needs of each and every startups and the SMEs. The last one, how we can provide this kind of assistance in a very systematic manner.
One form of this assistance is the so-called Global Innovation Special Zones that will help businesses outside Seoul expand more easily abroad by alleviating regulatory constraints.
We will apply a negative regulation system. This is very innovative approach. So they can try everything, actually, So innovation can thrive free from all kind of regulations in that district. And also we will provide some kind of a global level demonstration and also certification process.
So what you said about the negative regulation sounds like they will help these companies, these SMEs and startups to develop new products, which, as you said, will help them expand, more easily expand them into the global market. But also at the same time, SMEs and startups, especially those in the tech industry, for a while now, they've been struggling with labor shortages. So what are some measures that the ministry has in place this year to mitigate this issue?
So this year we launched a new policy program to bring in some talented people from India and Vietnam. Maybe around 400 people will come to Korea. So we will select them very carefully and also provide us some training program tailored to the specific needs of the companies.
This new policy holds a special personal significance for the minister, as she previously served as South Korea's ambassador to Vietnam, during which she witnessed firsthand the demand for what local businesses have to offer.
I want to ask, during your time as an ambassador, for example, to Vietnam, did you feel like there was a real interest in Korean SMEs and startups?
Definitely, actually, around 9,000 Korean companies now working in Vietnam. Most of them, the SMEs and startups. This is the whole area now. The MSS, our ministry, is really focusing on how we can promote their capacity, global capacity, which encompasses everything, and also how we can enable them to go to the global market in a very easily manner. This is all related to our new strategy.
Minister Oh added that the new strategy for globalization to help SMEs and startups expand their customer base beyond local borders will be announced in late April or early May. Lee Soo-jin, Arirang News.
The increase in fruit prices in South Korea last month outpaced overall inflation by a record margin. Data from Statistics Korea shows that fruit prices in February surged more than 40% on year. Compared to a 3.1% rise in the country's consumer price index, that's a gap of 37.5 percentage points, the largest on record. The surging fruit prices are largely seen as driven by extreme temperatures that led to lower yields of fruits such as apples. South Korea's financial regulator reveals the guidelines for compensating investors who've suffered losses from the allegedly missold equity-linked securities products tied to the Hong Kong stock market index. The compensation could be up to 100%, though some might receive nothing based on a case-by-case evaluation. Our Park Gun-woo explains more.
The Financial Supervisory Service announced compensation guidelines on Monday, based on an investigation into 11 financial institutes launched 2 months ago regarding losses incurred from derivative products of equity-linked securities tied to the Hang Seng China Enterprises Index. Investors have lost around 1.2 trillion won, or roughly $900 million so far, but is expected to possibly jump to nearly $4.6 billion from approximately 400,000 products invested in as of last year, if the Hong Kong H index remains at the 5,600 points level. The financial regulator said some investors could receive up to 100% in compensation from financial institutions, but some would possibly get nothing. This will be based on which side bears the most responsibility, the financial institute selling the ELS or the investor buying into the product. Financial institutes will be evaluated on criteria including whether they were mis-selling the product by not giving the appropriate explanation. However, this will be counterbalanced by the individual investor's knowledge and understanding of the product. The financial firm is deemed liable for 100% compensation if it deliberately misled inexperienced investors. On the other hand, those customers with the knowledge and experience of high-risk investments could be considered 100% responsible themselves, and so would receive no compensation at all. Cases in between these parameters would be evaluated on a roughly 50-50 percentage point basis. The regulators said companies can reach autonomous negotiated settlements with investors, but those unwilling to do this could submit their case to a dispute mediation committee to be set up in the future. But as the guidelines and committee procedures are not compulsory, there is the possibility of multiple lawsuits if neither the investor nor the financial firm reach an agreement. Park Gon-woo, Arirang News.
The price of Bitcoin, the largest cryptocurrency by market cap, surpassed the $72,000 mark to reach another all-time high. According to U.S. crypto exchange Coinbase, the price of one Bitcoin was trading at $72,087 as of noon Monday, Eastern Standard Time, up 4.28% from a day earlier. It went on to rise further to above $72,846, hitting another all-time high. At the same time, Ethereum, the second largest cryptocurrency by market cap, exceeded $4,000 for the first time since December 2021. Experts say the upward trend is due to the prospect of interest rate cuts by the U.S. Fed, as well as Bitcoin spot exchange-traded fund trading. Last month, the latest in the Roundup Korean movie series had its global premiere at the Berlin International Film Festival. Now, the whole cast is unveiling the film in its home country, giving a sneak peek of what to look forward to from this fourth installment. Our Kim Bo-kyung reports.
The one-inch barrier of subtitles no longer seemed to matter. And we can see this with the Korean action comedy film The Roundup Punishment being enjoyed at the Berlin International Film Festival. The latest in the series premiered in Berlin's special gala category last month. Ma Dong-seok, also known as Don Lee, was able to show global movie lovers how Korean detectives can clobber justice into lawbreakers. It was the first time a Korean action series was invited to the Berlinale. Asked about how he felt during a press briefing on Monday ahead of the domestic release, Ma Dong-seok said he was proud to see how his worries over subtitles had been shattered.
1,600 tickets were all sold out for the premiere in Berlin, and I was worried whether international viewers would be able to grasp the humor well enough. But as I saw movie watchers laughing out loud and clapping at the highlights, I could feel they were well delivered.
Already the fourth in the series, some say it cannot help but be somewhat formulaic. Heo Myung-haeng, the action choreographer for the first three films, was in the director's chair for the latest. And to tackle any such concerns, he added more noir-like elements to show stronger and more intense action.
When the villains come out, I wanted to create a solid, noir-like atmosphere. While for the detective scenes, I introduced a more cheerful tone. I did the same with stage design and arrangement, and music to give it a different vibe as well. I hope viewers can enjoy these two distinct tones for each team, the detective and villains.
After The Outlaw first came out, the sequels, The Roundup and The Roundup No Way Out, kept proving to be big hits, both garnering more than 10 million viewers. Can this fourth installment of the Roundup series not only quench original fans' thirst for comedy and action, but also win over a new audience? Moviegoers will be able to find out when it hits local theaters on April 24th. Kim Bo-kyung, Arirang News.
Let's take a look at the latest news in the world now. Muslims worldwide gathered at local mosques on Monday for the evening mass prayers called Taraweh, marking the first night of Ramadan. Many wish for peace in Gaza and prosperity in communities. In Jakarta, Indonesia, people crowded into the Istiqlal Mosque, the biggest mosque in Southeast Asia. Indonesia has the largest Muslim population within a single country in the world. Most Muslim countries started Ramadan on Monday, but some countries such as Oman start Ramadan on Tuesday. During the month of Ramadan, Muslims pray 6 times a day, which is 1 more than usual. In Germany, an American tourist was sentenced to life in prison on Monday for the rape and murder of a female tourist and the attempted murder of her friend. The brutal crime took place near one of Germany's most famous tourist destinations, the Neuschwanstein Castle. Both of the victims were also from the United States. The judge at the court in Kempten, in the south of the country, noted that the crime was of particular gravity, meaning the 31-year-old man, known only as Troy B., will not be granted automatic parole after 15 years, which is given for non-aggravated murders in Germany. According to his lawyer, he most likely will not apply to serve his sentence in the United States, as conditions of detention are better in Germany. In Switzerland, helicopters were seen searching an area near the Matterhorn mountain on Monday amid efforts to find a skier after other members of a missing ski party were found dead. 5 bodies were found on Sunday, with authorities saying the cause of death was most likely from catastrophic conditions involving avalanches, snowstorms, and extremely low temperatures, adding that an investigation is underway. Police say that 5 of the 6-member ski group were from the same family, with ages ranging from 21 to 58. Authorities also said the group had set out in relatively good conditions on Saturday. The incident is believed to be the most deadly in the Swiss Alps in recent years. In entertainment news, at Crufts Dog Show in Birmingham, UK on Sunday, the top prize was won by an Australian Shepherd called Viking. The 3-year-old Australian Shepherd was crowned Best in Show on the last day of the 4-day event, where around 20,000 dogs of different breeds competed to show off their skills and abilities. Zen, a Jack Russell Terrier, won reserve Best in Show, taking home the 2nd place prize. Crufts Dog Show is an annual international dog show held in the United Kingdom since 1891. Kim Jong-un, Arirang News.
Good afternoon. Spring rain soaks most of Korea today. Rain that started in the capital has spread to the rest of the country. The amount will not be that much. Gyeongsang-Namdo province could see 5 to 10 millimeters of rain. Jeju to receive 5 to 20 millimeters. Meanwhile, the mountainous regions in Gangwon-do province could see up to 5 centimeters of snowfall. Precipitation will let up from up north and will be completely gone by this evening. Today's rain will not affect the temperatures much. Readings continue to stay above seasonal norms in most places. This afternoon's hot in Gwangju top out at 11 degrees, Daegu topping out at 13 degrees Celsius. Despite the light precipitation, this round of rain helped to ease the dryness in the air. Sunny skies return tomorrow, and it will remain sunny through the rest of the week and into the weekend for most places. Afternoon temperatures will also rise as the week goes on and will peak at 16 degrees by Saturday in Seoul. That's Korea for you, and here's a look at the international weather conditions.
That's all we have for you at this hour. We'll bring you more updates at the same time tomorrow.